Hey, so this is a video for all these new people that have started following me and probably have no idea who I am and what I'm doing. So basically, I'll introduce myself. I'm Hannah and I'm a freedom fighter. I'm a sovereign. Back in March, I heard about a movement called the Free Man Movement, and I kind of got a bit obsessed with it, and I studied these videos and all the information on it for a couple of weeks, and I found some documents that these guys were talking about called a Notice of Understanding and Intent and Claim of Right. And I found one of these on the internet and downloaded it, and I had it notarized by a notary public, which is on the same level as a judge, basically. So if a judge looks at it, he is obliged to read it, he has to read it, and he has to take note of its content. So initially I'd heard about this common law right to travel, whereby you don't have to pay for it, it's your right. And this resonated really well with me, and I just looked up loads on it. And what I found out, I kind of made videos about. So if you look back in my video albums, I've got from the very beginning up until this point, and all the documents that I have sent, I keep posting to my Facebook page as well. So if you want to take a look at them, they are a stepping stone to what comes after, but they are great for just seeing what our rights really are. So download those ones. So basically I sent these documents off to the Queen, and there was another one that I kind of made from a foreign document called a Notice of Rescission and Deregistration, because what I found was that how they're tricking us into paying for it is by telling us we are a driver of a vehicle. What I found out from this movement was that the language used in law is different to just the everyday English. So I've been in court recently and people are suggesting I should learn the law. Now, I've learned enough of their legalese language to know that I have no idea what they're talking about in a courtroom. Now, if we're going to be forced to go there with threat of kidnapping if we don't, we have the right to know what the fuck is going on in there, like what they're saying to us. That's what I've learned. So I have no interest in learning the law and learning their system. That just doesn't interest me at all. I don't think the people should have to know it to have to go there. We shouldn't have to have representation. We should know what's going on in there. We have the right to, if they're going to demand we go. So I sent these documents off to the Queen and the Prime Minister and the DVLA. Didn't hear anything back from them, but I put at the bottom that if you don't reply, I'm just going to take it as you are accepting what I'm saying. So I set out then to exercise my birthright to travel. On the 16th of June, I was unlawfully arrested by 2 police officers in Tewkesbury, and I was taken down the police station. They couldn't take my car because the car was deregistered, which means it's not a vehicle, it's an automobile, and I am not a driver, I'm a traveller. And I found this out before I started doing it. I didn't just kind of go out there and travel around with no licence or anything. I did find out what a licence was, which is essentially a contract with the state. And once you're in contract with somebody, you're obliged to do what they say. So if there's no contract, then they have no authority over us. So I sent the licence back and said, no, I'm ending this contract because I don't need it. If I've got the lawful right to travel, why am I gonna have a contract with you? It just seems silly. So I thought, all right, maybe people don't know about this. If I try it out and it works, I'll let everyone know. So I got arrested, and I never claimed the name. This is the thing. When you're arrested and there's all these contracts they're trying to get you in, and the police don't even know that they're doing it either, but once it's in front of the judge, as long as he can see you said you understood that you are the driver and you have a vehicle or whatever, then they just go with that, and it's deception and it's fraud on us basically, because this person that they've created that is a driver isn't you, and it's a crime what they're doing, actually forcing people to think that they are a person that they're not. So I was summoned, well, my person was summoned to court in Cheltenham on the 25th of July, and I went there and I had no legal representation because I wasn't the legal name. I didn't give them a legal name, so they couldn't do anything with me. They tried to get me to go in the dock. I said, why am I going to go in the dock if I haven't committed a crime? So I sat where the defence solicitors had been sitting. And basically they kicked me out. The magistrates walked out and the clerk said, get out. They were then going to issue a warrant for my arrest. But it was obviously for my person's arrest, Miss Hannah Shotbolt. Luckily there was a peace officer there who said he would be my witness that I had come there. If I'm the person they're claiming they want, I was there trying to sort it out with them. They didn't want to sort it out. So basically then it had been adjourned. Now I was under the impression that they couldn't adjourn it and not give me a time when. But I had a letter come through this morning addressed to Hannah Shotbolt in capital letters, which is still a Crown-owned name. That's not me, the soul. Because if you have to think, they're writing to my body, but my soul is in my body. It's just the vehicle of who I am, carrying who I am. And they have no claim on who I am at all. Only God does. And this is my argument. So they've given my person a new court date for this. It's not even my person, it's their person. It's the Crown's person that they've created, and they own it. I have no rights to it whatsoever. So even being in that courtroom, I was in contempt of court. Ironically, they then arrested one of the three men that was recording for contempt of court, just to be bastards, I think. But anyway, I've got this letter now. I wrote to the courts. Because I'm keeping it very human-like. I think as the people, we have the right to talk to them, however, on whatever level we understand and whatever level we know, and we have the right to be able to understand what's going on, especially if they're demanding we go there and threatening us to kidnap us if we don't. Do you know what I mean? And I've learnt now enough to know that they're fucking us over as soon as we walk through the door. So I've got this letter now that I wrote back to this clerk. He hasn't actually given me his name because he didn't identify himself at all to me. In the courtroom, although they were trying to get me to say I was, they didn't even identify me. This is what I mean. I don't know how they think they've got the right to do this to people. It's a crime. It really is. So I'll read what I've said to him. So RE, date of new hearing. Listen, mate. It's Hannah. I'm writing this out of courtesy. At no point have I identified myself to you as the capitalised name Hannah Shotbolt. So once again, for and on the record, I am Hannah. The Crown Corporation owns Miss Hannah Shotbolt. This is not me. I served documents to the court on the 10th of July 2014 with delivery verification, blah blah blah, which contained a notarised notice of understanding and claim of right served on the Queen and other heads of state, along with all the evidence of delivery verification and all the correspondence involved. Also enclosed was a notice of rescission that was served on the DVLA and the Jersey State, along with copies of documents written by Kate of Gaia. Although I by no means consent to any of these proceedings, I presented myself at Court 1, Cheltenham Magistrates Court on 25th of July 2014 under protest and duress. I attempted to present myself to the court, but the magistrates walked out. The clerk, who didn't identify himself for me, rudely shouted at me to get out. Following this, he said he was going to issue a warrant for the arrest of me. There was a peace officer present, and PC Ranford 1272 of Cheltenham Police Station, who acted as intermediary between myself and the clerk. PC Ranford witnessed me being there, who the clerk was claiming he wanted to be there, so a warrant wasn't issued. At no point have I identified myself as the Crown's legal person, and at no point shall I be, because I have no rights to it. It is intellectual property of the Crown Corporation, and unlike yourselves, I don't have use to the copyright use of my legal name. So in using it, I will be guilty of fraud. It is also false impersonation for me to come and stand in front of you claiming to be a person that I know I'm not. As I made the attempt to resolve the mistaken identity issue once and was shouted at and basically treated poorly for no reason, I am writing to inform you that unless you can provide me with an obligation to attend your new hearing for the Crown's legal name Hannah Shotbolt, I think I'll sit this one out. I've served all the paperwork necessary for you to proceed without me. You don't have to reply to this letter, and if you don't, within 7 days, I will take it that you accept my version. Namaste, Hannah. P.S. It's time to wake up. So I'm going to serve that on that clerk tomorrow. Because this is illegal what they're doing. It's not legal for them to just force people into thinking that they're someone that they're not through deception and lies. Like like I said in my last video, I got it from Rob Menard. If you want to live your life by the morals of truth, love and compassion, try and find those 3 words in any piece of legislation or anything legal. You just won't find it. So if that's where you want to exist, in that consciousness, you have to exist outside of this system. You can't have both. You can't have the best of both with this. This is almost the devil incarnate, this system. It's just based on fear and money. This is all they're doing it for. It's not out of love. There's no compassion, no truth. It's not about the truth. It's not about justice. It's about money. So let's just wake up to it. I think at least if we can just get the awareness there. It's not like we have to necessarily do anything right now, because I don't think that I can take on the whole system and win necessarily. Like, it's going to take everybody's awareness to get to the point where we know that this person that they've created is not us. So spread the message. Namaste.